Friday Freedom for November the 7th, 2025, here on Following Him, the Disciple Life. We must be thankful for the freedoms we enjoy here in the United States of America. Now, if you're in a different country that doesn't enjoy these freedoms, I pray that someday you do. For those of us here in the United States, those of us that are part of the United States of America, we must learn to have appreciation for the freedoms we have. That speech that seems to go around the internet every so often from the movie The Newsroom. Now, I've never seen the movie The Newsroom. I don't even know the character's name, but that speech, I think it's towards the end of the movie, and it's got the sentimental music playing at one point and these different things. And this guy is talking about all these freedoms that these other countries have, kind of disparaging the idea that the freedom of the United States makes us, kind of set apart and special and such.
Canada has freedom. Japan has freedom. The UK, France, Italy, Germany, Spain, Australia, Belgium has freedom.
We learned, I would submit, in the past few years, I think definitely in 2020, but it could even be known before then. It is not true that other nations have the same level of freedoms that we have in this country, for the most part. Now, it depends what you're talking about. There are some countries where they might, in fact, not might, where they do in some ways have like more economic freedom on certain things and stuff like that. But overall, for the most part, most countries just do not have the level of protection, like built in on a constitutional level of protection for things like the freedom of assembly, the freedom of speech, the freedom of religion, things of this nature. Like they just don't have these things in other countries, for the most part, the same way we do in the United States of America. In 1 Timothy 2, verses 1 through 2, Paul said, "Therefore I exhort first of all that supplications, prayers, intercessions, and giving of thanks be made for all men, for kings and all who are in authority, that we may lead a quiet and peaceable life in all godliness and reverence." Those prayers to be made for those in authority, and considering the level of hatred that some people seem to have for certain governing officials, there is an executive governing official that comes to mind, that giving thanks for that individual would I think would give some people fits. But the way of Christ calls us to being a much better version of ourselves. But these prayers and these things that we offer for these governing officials, it's for a purpose, that we may lead a quiet and peaceful life in all godliness and reverence. Now, think about this a second. Basically, to paraphrase this, that we can be left alone to live as Christians. Now, you need to live as a Christian regardless of whether or not you're being left alone. But it is fitting and right to pray that things are such with governing officials that Christians are free to lead a quiet and peaceable life. But here's the thing, folks. For the most part, and yes, there are those that would do violence against people that oppose their, radical, like gender ideology and things like this. For the most part in this country, we actually have this. Most people in this country do not fear for their life when they gather with fellow Christians to worship. Most people do not fear for their safety if they are found to have a Bible in their possession. And yet, that is a very real reality. Not that Christians that live under persecution should live in fear. We're not be given a spirit of fear, but a power and love and of a sound mind. But yet, as far as things to be concerned about, that is a genuine concern that exists in some places. We don't have to deal with that in the United States. So, talking Friday Freedom and this being Give Thanks November, be giving thanks for the freedoms that we have in the United States of America. You have a great rest of the day, and shalom.